100 grams of green beans. We threw them in the roaster. We roasted for 27 minutes to give us our darker roast. And so by the end of it, we had 81 grams of dark roasted coffee beans. And our escape gases and our chaff, which was our waste, was 19.0 grams. So for the second step of our coffee brew, we threw the beans into the grinder. And we grinded for about 10 seconds or so for a little bit more of a fine grind. Our remainders was, we had coffee grounds of 80 grams that was left, and we also had a wasted amount of coffee grounds, which was 1.0 grams, that we just decided that we didn't want to use in our coffee brew. And then, so for the third and final step, we took the 80 grams and we threw them inside of the Mr. Coffee Brewer. We threw that in along with 1,120 grams of cold water. We brewed for about 6 minutes or so, as long as the machine let us. And from there, we had a final mass production of 935.0 grams of brewed coffee. And then our waste was our evaporated water as well as our spent grounds, which was 265.0 grams. And then so after all that, our energy usage, so for our first step, which was the roaster, like I said, it was a 27-minute roast. It was a dark roast in the end, and that was 0.257 kilowatt hours. And then for our Mr. Coffee brewer machines, we had 0.11 or 0.11 kilowatt hours.
In regards to taste, we use Mr. Coffee for consistency. Guatemala coffee beans produce a fruity flavor and floral fragrance. The blind taste test score from the judges was 155.5 out of 275, a total of 57%, and the pure blind taste score was 119 out of 330, a total of 36%. On average, we scored low for balance but high for fragrance and body.
For our coffee energy score, we decided to use Mr. Coffee because we thought it would be a lower energy score. When we did our first design trials in Lab 7, we used 200 grams of water in Mr. Coffee, and that resulted in 0.03 kilowatts per hour, whereas the water kettle used 0.06 kilowatts per hour for the same amount of water. Because of this, we decided to use Mr. Coffee for a lower energy score. However, we didn't take into consideration that for using 900 grams of water, we would have to use 2 Mr. Coffees. Additionally, the Mr. Coffee has a lot more components than a water kettle, such as the hot plate that makes the energy score much higher. And therefore, using 1 water kettle for over 900 grams of water probably would have been a smarter idea.
Oh, hey, Aiden. What do you think we could do better for our coffee contest next time?
Yeah, so I got, there's a couple different ideas. So first off, I think that one thing that'd be really beneficial is the idea of using more coffee beans in our final brew. This would kind of help us lower our brew ratio and also make the coffee sweeter and more desirable. Second off, I think something that'd be really beneficial would be the idea of using a lighter roast. So we roasted our beans for 27 minutes and had a dark roast, where I think that perhaps doing a lighter roast would also help us save energy and make the taste a little bit more desirable. And third off, something that I think we should do is, perhaps pick a different brewing method than the Mr. Coffee. It used a lot of energy, and if we were to use perhaps the French press or the AeroPress, we could save energy and also just have a different tasting coffee.
Good ideas.
Thanks.